Ha ha. You better choose yourself and let's get it. Welcome to another episode of the Choose Yourself channel where we give you more growth than you can handle. Where we're dedicated to triggering you to choose yourself and not lose yourself with raw truths, powerful stories, and healing through humor. Now, everybody wants the bag, but most lack the commitment to get it. So they chase the flex, not the freedom, or they end up chasing somebody with it. What you're doing, where you're going. Credit isn't about the come up, it's about the cheat code to the system. But if you're buying for status instead of stacking your wisdom, you're just financing your own prison. And you don't want to be there. Trust me, it gets lonely in there. But that was the trigger point to my whole development. So solitude is where we can find the gratitude. Now, you can't finance fulfillment. We're talking value, not vanity, legacy over liabilities, and awareness over insanity. Are you funding vacations to escape or elevate? Because today you're going to learn it's never too late to replace old habits with new traits. And our guest today will help you rebuild your credit, utilize the system to your advantage. And she had to learn the hard way. Welcome to the show, Miss Keela, a.k.a. Mrs. Cashflows. How you feeling?
Doing amazing. Thank you for having me, Hakeem. I'm so excited to be here for sure.
Yeah, better every day. I learned so much from our previous conversations and your content. So I want to thank you for that. And, I've been working on my own financial wisdom and security ever since then. So I appreciate that. But what got you into your level of awareness to finances? And how was your relationship with money before you got to that point?
Me and my journey with money has been it's been interesting. Okay. So when I was raised, my parents, they were drug dealers, so we just had a lot of money, and it was like we didn't care for it, really didn't respect it. Unbeknownst to me, I just was used to just having a lot of cash flow and just having things of abundance and spending out of control. It was a time when I was like in my 20s where I went to like a workshop boot camp, which had me budget my money for the first time. And at the time, I'm like a few credits away from my undergrad degree. And at the time, I'm making like $45 an hour in my early 20s. Like I was very successful. And I didn't think, that was enough money because people have like a money barometer. My money barometer was all that money I had grew up with, technically millionaires, to be honest. My parents were millionaires. It wasn't legal, but technically, yeah. And so it was just like an abundance of money. So I used to always say to myself, oh, it's just not, I'm not making enough money. I'm making all this money and my car note was behind. And then that 1 week boot camp allowed me to identify that I had some insecurity issues, retail issues. Like when you hear Kanye West say Black female addicted to retail, that was me. I used to have so much stuff. Like, you can literally, when I came to that awareness, like, I was spending all my money on clothes. Like, I didn't even wear the same thing twice. I had stuff in my closet with tags on it. And from that point, that's when I kind of like went natural with my hair. I stopped getting my nails done, stopped eating out, and I saved to obtain my first property. And that's how I ended up getting my first building. I house hacked at a young age. And that's when I first became aware of spending. Now I came into a new habit. I started to save everything because I had saved like $50,000 so fast within that year that I felt rich. I was like, oh my God, like I can't believe I got all this money. And I just started to hoard money, which was also a different, an issue. So now I got the identity. I stopped spending. Now I'm hoarding. I'm in corporate America. I get terminated 2014. Now I go into entrepreneurship with that same sort of mindset, but I still have that money blueprint of thinking that cash flow is the thing. So I go into that same business, Airbnb. I'm getting money every day, but remember the new habit I adopted. I'm hoarding money. I'm saving it. And that was also a big mistake. What I now know is after losing that business because I didn't structure out in the correct fashion and I didn't have business credit, I knew how to make money, but I didn't know how to keep it, protect it, grow it, and allow it to go out and work for me like little soldiers and multiply for me. So trying to save your way to wealth, I experienced that that is not the way because my cash did not help me. I had over $150,000 liquid cash in one account and maybe 10, 20 in two other accounts. Like literally, that liquid cash went so fast that I was near homelessness, and I had to file bankruptcy. So I knew there was a gap in my learning for sure. And that's what brought you to me. You see, it's a long journey, but all of this information is needed so you can see how I evolved. So I went into financial literacy, got rid of my bankruptcy, and I funded myself $300,000. I now know that structure is king, right? Your business needs to have its own identity, its own name, phone number, email, website, and totally separate you from your personal finances. And so now I have investing, all of that stuff part of my portfolio and my money blueprint at this point. But money is quite emotional. And I promise you, if you're coming up under the sound of my voice, if you're not where you want to be financially, you probably need some guidance. Like, seriously.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and it comes down to the upbringing, like you said. Like you had more money than most people your age, but because of what you're used to, you looked at it as, oh, I need more. And, for me, it was the opposite. I was used to seeing Mama D working so hard all day, every day,
Mm.
and we were still broke. So I contributed being broke to working hard. So then I would undervalue myself and work for less money just so I could fit that mindset. And so me trying to understand the importance of understanding your value is one thing that I've come into, in this choose yourself journey since my dark place. But how do you suggest people who are penny pitching, people who are consider themselves broke or consider themselves incapable of saving and investing? What are the first steps for someone to start to get on that path?
We have to feed ourselves new information. That's the idea
Mhm.
we have accepted of ourselves. We've just adopted, what our parents had taught us. But that's not our legacy, right? You need to start reading books, the psychology of money, things like that. We need to understand where we are and be self in touch with ourselves, right? Because what ended up happening, right? Environment is key. I'll say that.
Mhm.
And another thing is I'm an advent reader in anything that I'm involved in. So my parents, they were drug dealers, but they drummed school into me. And so I used to get like straight A's. I always had high GPAs and stuff like that. So being involved in that, I wasn't in a drug dealing environment. I was around, academia. We were reading. I was in tech. So my exposure was different. So I was exposed to different things. And that's how I came to the understanding, hey, get into this boot camp, girl, and start understanding money management 101. So your environment is key. That's number one. You have to get out of any environment that's keeping you stuck. Your environment will multiply you, whatever it is, whoever you are. If you're in
Mhm.
a non-productive environment, it's going to 10x that non-productivity in you. You have to join mentorships. You have to have social groups. You have to, how can I say it? They say be renewed, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. You do that through environment and through reading books and training and making new choices.
Yeah, that's why we say you got a GYM, and that's grow your mind. And that's exactly right. I mean, that's how you get a different understanding of life, your impact on life, your abilities, your confidence, your innate authenticity and what that is, and then trying to find the environment to align with that version that you keep discovering in your mind. We all have the vision, but then we have to beat the habits, the sabotage. We have to beat the ego in order to pull ourselves from that environment. So you had your trigger point, which was going from the corporate hoarding and saving to investing, growing your mind, and now you learn how to make your money work for you. And now the second pillar is the environment evaluation, which you already touched on, is what you're consuming, the conversations, the people around you. If you go on with people who go out every weekend and they can afford it, you're gonna end up spending money
Mm,
that you don't got. If you if you spending
mhm,
money on vacations trying to keep up with the Kardashians who post all around the world, that's not your life. So where
mm,
are the people who have either been through what you've been through or are in a similar situation seeking similar things. Is there any type of conversations about money that you just won't entertain that are like a flag to you?
The funny thing? Hakeem, like, when you start to evolve, those people just instantly just fall off. So I don't care, I'm not around the people who have shopping addictions anymore because it's not me. What do they say? You meet no one but you.
Mhm.
So again, internally, that's who you are. And that's what I was seeking. Girlfriends. We literally used to shop when I was in high school, me and my group of friends, to the mall open until it closed. Like to my feet was, we will take breaks, okay, like lunch and just hang out. And it was just a thing. Okay. And that was feeding that shopping addiction, to feel rich and to have this identity and all this other stuff. But when you become a new person, your environment absolutely changes. But sometimes you have to be intentional. You have to be intentional and say, I'm done. Okay, let's break into the new me. I'm done with being broke. I'm done with doing this. I'm done with struggling. I'm done with this. You need to first recognize that there's a gap in your emotional growth, if that's what you need, or your financial growth. And I identified that. I was like, there's a gap in my learning. So I need somebody to help me. And that's when I went into the financial literacy program and I learned things that blew my mind. And you have to sometimes, what my mentor says, you're either going to earn your way in the room, pay your way in the room, or serve your way in the room. Right. So I choose to earn and pay. So I'm paying to get around the people I need to be around to cultivate me, to help me level up.
Yeah, that's
I have
good
no
advice.
problem
That's
paying.
what's that?
I have no problem paying because a lot of people, their perception of sometimes you need to get out of your own way. Like, oh, I don't want to pay $3,000 or $5,000 or $8,000. Guess what? You're leveling up. So now I'm part of a group of 150 people who also paid $8,000. What do you think the mindset of those people and the resources of those people? And that's
Mhm.
exactly what happened to me. When I made that decision, my life just changed. I'm unrecognizable to myself when I made the decision to commit myself to life change. I'm
Yeah,
telling you, it's worth it.
you you exemplify every pillar, just right on point. And the foundation of life physically is obviously health, sleep, gut health, exercise, one thing, but there's also a financial foundation of understanding your balance, of understanding your budget, what you've learned and now what you help provide people with, of understanding credit and loans and all these opportunities and how to work with the system to be able to create freedom. And so, how does one differentiate between a reward and self-sabotage? Where I'm sure when you were shopping, you're like, "Oh, I earned this, I deserve this." And there's people who are like, "Oh, I may not have the money, but I deserve a vacation." How does one identify like, am I rewarding myself or am I sabotaging myself?
When you don't have an a clear financial economic plan in place, you're sabotaging yourself. Like
Simple.
you just getting your paycheck and you're not accounting for it. When I did that 1 week boot camp, it was insane. I had thousands of dollars within a month that I couldn't even account for. It was because I didn't have a plan for my money. Like, I don't care if you come up with something like, hey, I don't spend no more than 70% of anything, like the other 30%, 10% goes into active capital, 10% goes into investing automatically, 10% goes into growing my business or reinvesting in my business. You need to have some form of economic plan and discipline in order for your money to grow, in order for it to be respected. Like, if you know you're bringing in $5,000 a month, well, these days that's probably not even enough. Well, let's say $5,000 a month. Let's say $10,000 a month. Yeah, we need at
Yeah,
least 100K.
man.
Let's just say you're at the person who's rich. through my studies and since I'm in this industry, I've been in this industry 6 years now, and so I'm in economic boot camps. And by the way, just so you guys know, within the next 3 years, we should have lost half of our workforce due to AI, and we're going to
Hmm.
start seeing that effect fairly quickly within the next 12 to 18 months. We're
Then you
going
ain't
to
gonna have
see that.
no money. So,
That's how they're predicting that the African American will be net worth $0 by 2050.
damn,
Okay.
zero.
So it's not a, okay. It is, I'm from tech. What's introduced to us is 10 years behind. What's actually available, they're just dripping it out. That's how they can predict
Hmm.
things and how it's going to go. Even Walmart has placed a 2-year freeze on hiring to make their company AI friendly. Okay. Well, what do you think is next for you? So we need to create a full economic plan. Take a look at what we're making, what we're going to do with it, what percentage we're going to invest to make it grow. What can we cut? You know what I mean? Can we start a business? Can we leverage other people's money to start a business? Like literally, I changed my life with $10,000, just to $8,900 to relocate from Chicago to Atlanta. Then I hustled and invested $5,000 into no, I think I talked the man down to 3,500. I forgot. Negotiated down. Like it was like that, okay? I was like, "Look, I could come up with the 3,500. Can you hold the sale?" He like, "Akila, that sale was 2 months ago. We do that like once a quarter." I'm like, "I could come up with 3,500, within give me 2 weeks." Then I convinced him to give me 2 weeks. Drove Uber and I changed my life. So you don't need a lot of money if you come up with the right opportunity and the right blueprint and the right guidance. I'm telling you, we need guidance.
Yeah, no,
Mentorship is key.
for sure. No,
Yeah.
I'm starting to learn that myself. Going when I started this whole thing, it's like, oh, you can do everything yourself. But recently I got a manager, got a mentor, started working with financial advisors, started, editing, auditing my own shit and learning about the psychology of money. Had to read that. Money Come Dance with Me. I read that. Secrets of a Millionaire Mind. I read that. I listened to it. I try to make sure I stay on top of my own shit. But when was the time, like in the transition, did you ever relapse back into shopping and then bounce back or into anything?
No,
Spending? No.
because I've been there, done that. So
Yeah.
I've had furs, diamonds, I've been rich, I've been poor. So once you've experienced it and once you have a closet full of like when I first came to Atlanta, like they wear label clothes like none other. Like my label clothes look pretty. Now, women, we're gonna make sure our shoes and our purses are right. Like that's just a thing. Like my bag, I don't care if it's big or small. Like my bag, just a little bag. Um, but I didn't go crazy like how I would. I stopped and I don't have that addiction anymore because I know that I can put $10,000 in a place and multiply that. So it's um, like I told my mom, like I'm starting her a business. I'm helping her start a business. Finally, we have like a little family meeting on Sunday and I was like, "We're done with the label." I said, "For your birthday, we're gonna fly out next year to China and we gonna run it up. We gonna get you all the label stuff you we gonna come
Except
back with all the Chanel bags, like every color.
authentic too.
You know, like, let's go get the Hermes bag too while we with it. I wanted it in burgundy and gray, So and she was like, "Really?" I say, "Really?" We gonna run it up because it's not worth it. Okay. And I'll give you an example when I say mentorship because she was like, "Well, why does it cost so much? It's $15,000." And this is a woman who's never worked in her life. She was a kept woman. And she was like, "Why 15,000?" And so we're gonna start an e-commerce store for her, right? And I said, "Okay." Part of that 15,000, he's going to include products. He's going to help you develop the name and the branding and the labels and the logo and brand your product out. He's going to give you the manufacturer that's going to ship your product and the shipping company, as well as the influencer marketer network of the people who's actually going to be influencer marketer, internet people with millions of followers to sell your product for only $300 a week. I say, so let's say we didn't pay him. How successful do you think you would be if you tried to just go sell a product? First, it's going to take us a long time to find a manufacturer to create it for us. Then we got to find somebody who is good with logos. How many of those people we got to get through? Then we don't know how we're branding it out. We're not even familiar with the niche. Oh, you would lose a lot more than $15,000 time, and you will probably quit because you don't know what you don't know. And mentorship is the cheat code. It collapses the timeline. And with a system in place, most businesses fail because they don't have capital and they don't have a system in place. It takes you up to 3 years to even figure out a correct system to lead gen and to be successful in the industry when you're building a business from ground up without the system. I said, you
Mhm.
have someone that's giving you the system and the product and launching a business. That's how people are going from $15,000 investment to 100K or six figures within 1 year because we're skipping levels, we're collapsing the timeline. And once you kind of get that in your brain and understand that, we will be successful faster. And right now is the time. Connect with High King. We have to get our emotions in check. We need therapy. We are not
Mhm.
right. I done been through a lot in my life. You know what I'm saying? We need
For real.
emotional stability.
Yeah, no,
We
that's part of it.
need helping us remember to stay on point. We need that. Like, oh, get your emotions in check. Do this. Have some rituals in check. And that's going to keep you balanced and focused and disciplined. Without it, you just going with the flow.
Yeah, and that's part of the balance, man. Like understanding there's a time and a place for shopping, for drinking, for vacations. There's a time and a place for sleeping in, hitting the snooze. Like schedule those in your freaking year, just like you're gonna schedule anything else. But do you have the capacity for it? Do you just like if you're trying to manage your awareness, attention, and energy to people, do you have the capacity to be around somebody who's negative? How long can you be around that before you become negative? Do you have the capacity to be around a temptation that you used to have an addiction to? How long can you be around that until you collapse? Like understanding that is the part of awareness that we then can apply to money. And having the awareness that relates to us makes it personal. And then the personal component makes it permanent. Then you just apply it to finance. This is what I'm learning. Everything I talk about can be applied to finance. And eventually I'm going to have a whole financial structure about balance, about your trigger points, about evaluating your environment financially, building your foundation, and then investing in yourself financially, and then creating and contributing financially. And so that's the next phase for this whole process. And that's exactly right, man. Personal development is close to business development, almost identical, would you say?
Well, it's a direct correlation to your personal development and your money,
Mhm.
like real talk. Your personal development does not far outweigh, your bank account. And I am not kidding you. If your emotions are not in place and you're not disciplining your life, you're definitely not going to be disciplined with your money. And you also need to get around people. That's another reason you should join communities. I don't care if it's low ticket, high ticket, whatever you need. This is for you. That's a self investment. You need to get around people who's hungry, especially if you're unmotivated. I tell you what, get around a bunch of other people who are motivated because you jumped in a $97 a month community and they meet twice a month and everybody got something going on and you're hearing different conversations and you're witnessing this and these people are fired up. The people I'm around now, Hakeem, like, to be honest, I hide in the corner sometimes and they laugh. So when I go to these functions and they got alcohol and all that, I literally cannot drink because the conversations just don't stop. people are so passionate about what they do. Like if I go to an influencer's event, like they talk you down. You be like, okay, I got it. Okay, and you got that going on. You got that inspiration. Yeah, and then we did this, and then we did this. Oh, and let me show you this strategy. Oh, let me give you this guy. Be around those people to the point where they're talking about something so much about all this stuff and all this money that they're making and all these moves and the impact that they have, and they're energetic about it. It's levels to it. You'll then begin like, I don't drink. It's not, it become, you become a different person because I have a community where I have to think for people. And when people get to a certain level, the drug is the grind of the impact that you have and the responsibility you have to people. So study the people who are wealthy and you'll see they're very disciplined. I'm up at 5 a.m. You know, I am driven. Like you need to have something in your life that you're excited to get up in the morning and run to it every day. And if you don't have that, you need to start getting yourself in communities and start figuring out what it is that you want. Too much, we're listening to other people tell us what we should do. We don't even know what we want. That's crazy.
Yeah, and then you end up living somebody else's life. But if you are over relaxing, you are not excited for your life. You're not. You're just
Nope.
not. If you're hitting the snooze and you're staying up late and you rather scroll and you rather consume snacks and pop and freaking all these toxins, like you don't believe in your dream or your passion or yourself enough to be able to exceed the addiction, exceed the temptation to the next level so that you can be better for your business. I say it all the time. You had an intention on waking up on time last night when you set that alarm. What happened? Did your dreams get smaller? Because if you stay in your bed, your dreams stay in your head.
How came it could be the food? Because as soon as you were just saying that, I was thinking that. I don't know if this is like telekinesis, but I'm like, a lot of people don't perform well because they don't feel well. You done had Coke. Like, how could you? I'm not judging, but
Well,
soda
yeah,
burns your throat. I would rather have a shot of vodka than a Coca-Cola pop. Like, it's like, oh my God. Like, it's all of that, and it's burning you like that, and then if it's not burning your throat, that means you're used to it, like, what that's crazy. Okay, so you're drugged down. The chips and the toxins and all the stuff that's in the food, you can't perform, you don't feel well. You're snappy, you got attitude problems, and people like, "Calm down." You know, I'm cool, I don't drink coffee, I'll have a juice in the morning, or a tea of some sort, and I feel energized. So it's like, get your diet.
yeah, it
Get your
gets
diet
better.
in place, your mind in place, your finances in place, your environment in place. I'm telling you.
Yeah, health, health, health first. Like if you're worried about being broke and you're unhealthy, focus on your health because you're gonna be battling your addictions so hard when you're trying to figure out your money and get money, and you're just gonna be impulse spending because your addictions and cravings is too high. So find a way to restrict from overspending initially, find your percentage, find your structure, find your foundation. But then the very next focus is how do I break free of my addictions and vices? How do I become less dependent? Because you can't even think clearly when you're like, oh, I need some nicotine. Oh, I need a coffee. Oh, I need some sweet. Oh, dang, you got your mind is all racing for some other shit that ain't got nothing to do and it costs money. So that's what I say break free
Yeah.
and then find your balance, whatever that is. And your balance will change once the addiction dissipates.
My God. It was a period because I journal and I work out like forever. Like I've always done that. Like I can't even remember, like since I was like in high school and stuff like that, right? It was a period when I was struggling. I was hiding from the guy to avoid and evade eviction, right? He had came that night. He used to come in the morning. So I used to be a landlord in Chicago, so I understood landlord tenant law. They couldn't serve me. I didn't have to go to court, and so I was able to extend my free living.
Smooth with it.
Technically, I was homeless. you know. So he came that night, and I woke up that morning. I was feeling real bad. I was like, you have to get up and you have to accept what has happened to you. You have to do something different. I opened up my this thing had consumed me so much that I was just struggling with it alone. No one really knew I was going through this. And I flipped open my journal and I saw that I didn't journal for several months. I had stopped working out. I got up that morning and I went for a run. I came back with such clarity, and it was along the lakefront. Something about that water and the lakefront and being out in nature. Now, mind you, it was at least 3 months since I'm going through this for months. I went 3 months without eating. I mean, without working out, without really, I was drinking because now I'm depressed. And I got up and I went for a run. Things just started to download. And
Mhm.
I can remember the day like it was yesterday. I came back with such clarity. I was like, look, you need $10,000 and you need to get the hell out of here by April 1st. I'll never forget. I get a phone call, and that's when I discovered that I would do Uber because I discovered my cousin was making about $35. And I was like, you don't make that much doing Uber. Send me a screenshot. And he was like, yeah. I was like, cool. If he's doing it part-time and he made $5,000, guess what? Imma double up, and Imma get 10,000, I'm out of here. Things turned around for me so fast, no more alcohol, none of that. Journaling, I'm back on my workout. Oh, literally, it's a direct correlation to your habits because everything affects everything. When I was going deeper into a depression, I found myself drinking alcohol and hiding from people. You need people, you need the environment of the energy of people who's going to help you win. That's number one. You need the daily ritual because the easiest, well, not the easiest, the most difficult discipline you can get is what you're putting in your mouth and working out every day. If you can
Mhm.
master that, you can master anything,
Tough.
my
Yeah,
opinion.
that especially with all the temptation and the convenience out here. You press a button, you get a whole pizza to your door. You ain't got to farm. You ain't got to go outside. You can get cake right after that. Like, golly, it don't even matter what. You barely even got to wait in line anymore, anywhere. And that's the direct correlation for
Yeah.
exercise. Exercise and health
Yeah.
is when you get outside in nature, one thing, it's energetic. The plants are alive, the air is
Yeah.
alive, there's fresh oxygen, and it makes you understand that your problems ain't that big. Look at this damn tree. Been his whole
Oh
life,
my
not worried, went through all the weather. You got all these animals out here just living their life, just reproducing, looking for a mate, eating, sleeping. Like we got all these other problems as humans that we create from comparisons, from judgment, from programming, and nature will help you kind of condense it down to like the basics of life. Am I doing the basics that God created me to do? Am I doing my shit? Like I believe in God, but it don't look like it with my actions. Yep, exactly. And he can see you, and your subconscious is always watching. And then you got the community component where we use our own
mm,
ego to flip it, where it's like we care more about what other people think than what we think of ourselves, which is why in solitude we typically don't do what we say. But when you get around other people, all of a sudden you can do it. You can pick up your kids, you can be happy, put a smile on at work. All of a sudden you dressing up. But when you're by yourself, you don't care about it. You don't even shave till you
mm.
go on a date. You don't even put on makeup till you go see somebody. You don't even lose. You don't even lose weight after you meet somebody because you did it to meet them in the first place. So use that community where
Right,
it's like, okay,
right.
I'm about to be around these people. I need to enhance my knowledge. I need to enhance my communication skills. I need to put a certain projection out there for them so that I can fit in. And when you get around higher level people, then it makes you more uncomfortable if you're not prepared. So it forces you to prepare. So then you can have those conversations and then you learn. And then the image you put out there when you go back home, you better back it up for the next time you see them. Otherwise, you damn hypocrite.
Mhm. Yeah, that's true. How can people hold you accountable? So, because it's like this, and it's like with me and it's like with you, right? People when they're high performers, they're at a certain level. It's either you're gonna bring yourself to their level because you dang sure ain't finna drag me down. So it's either you come up to my level or you disappear. Like it's just like as simple as that. I mean, because you're not about to drag me down. I'm sorry. It's just certain conversation and I had to read a book. It was like a couple years ago. I had went a couple years here in Atlanta because they told me don't come back home because we were partying during COVID. And I went like 2 years without going home, and then once that was lifted, I came home after 2.5 years, and I had not been in an environment of, and it was Mother's Day, of like the lower conversations and the talking about people and I didn't know what was going on with me. I was turbulent. And I was like, "Oh my God, I'm ready to go home." But I didn't know what it was. And I was like, sometimes you could just ask, like, "What is this? What am I feeling?" Oh my God. Something popped up in a book I was reading. And it said when you're used to operating at such a high vibration, that the lower vibration and the stuff and the things that people are talking about, it's you then become uncomfortable in that space. I'm like, I can't, I don't like how this feel. I don't know what this is. And that's what it was. And I had to, once I recognized it, I'm now able to manage it. But at first I didn't know what was happening. I'm like, man, this is crazy. I don't even want to be around my own people, right? So it wasn't,
Man,
and that's what people say, oh, they're better than you. No, this just doesn't feel good anymore. It just doesn't. I
disalignment.
mean,
This disalignment, and we all got a certain purpose. And some people are meant to show us what not to do. And some people are seasonal.
mm,
Some people are put here to show us before we trick it off what not to do. And when we come start to understand that, then it comes a higher form of acceptance, accountability, and awareness. But if we latch on to the relationships, we latch on to the environments, we latch on to the type of conversations, then it's hard to outgrow them things. That's why solitude is everything. It's biblical. You got to go in your own cocoon before you can be a butterfly. Otherwise, you're gonna be with these caterpillars trying to get lucky, hopping from clover to clover, for real. But when it came to your
mm.
creation and contribution, now, so can you kind of give us an overview so people who enjoyed this can tap in with you what you would help them with and how they can get started?
And so everything that I went through bankruptcy, funded myself. I've now mentored thousands of people. I'm now the CEO of Finally Funded and Business Credit Mastery, where I help entrepreneurs become funding ready and obtain anywhere from 50 to $150,000 plus in funding, right? And just give you the financial tools to structure out with trust, with holding companies, and protect yourself and help you understand, like, hey, we need a stream of income. And I help you check yourself, like, what's going on right now? What are you doing right now? The business you have right now, is it bringing you money? No. Let's take a small percentage of this capital, either go buy a business, because right now I'm heavily with my two partners that I partner with, right? You could literally just leverage your credit right now and just go buy a business that's already profitable, or you can go sell a product. I feel like those are the two least riskiest things you can do, because trying to build a business from scratch, been there, done that. Like, we don't have
Shit,
time for that. I would never do it again, Hakeem. Like, the struggle is real.
man,
They don't know. They think entrepreneurship is a joke. Man,
all
that's
day.
why that's why entrepreneurs are some of the most spiritual people. We're someone that took an idea and saw it come into fruition after all the bullshit we had to go through in order to see that happen. And we never gave up. That develops a different type of person. So we're not accepting mediocrity and small bullshit. I don't want to hear you talking about your sister. Like, that's not a good use of my brain
For
space
real.
right now. Like, it's like I could be doing something else, talking to somebody else about making money or helping them become successful. This is not a good use of my, like, time. It becomes a good commodity. It's like this here, like, I cannot just sit here and consume this type of information. But definitely, I'm here to help you cross over to the funding side. And I'm here to help you not only obtain the capital you need, but to stay in business. That's my MO.
Damn. Well, listen, if
Oh,
y'all
and
looking,
tap in,
yeah, yeah.
and you can tap in with me. I'm Mrs. Cashflows on all platforms. I would love to chat. If you tell me, like, hey, I saw you on Hakeem's show, definitely I'm going to make sure that I pick up the phone myself for you and reach out to you for sure.
Yeah, yeah. She's done it in the past for other self choosers. So definitely reach out. You want to consult, get some ideas, tap into her content, tap into her website, and see what's in alignment. And that's one thing that we're passionate about. After Pillar 5 is creation and contribution. But first, you got to embrace your story to find your power, just like she did, just like I did, because that's what makes you an expert. That's what gives you credit in life amongst people, is actually coming from experience. You can learn and talk and pray all you want, but ain't nothing going to happen without action. And so embrace your story,
Hmm.
find a way to prioritize your health and time, and then we take that, put into a compartment of some sort, or find a business that's in alignment, and then use that as the channel to then contribute to others, whatever that is. So that's the part where, Keela can come in, Mrs. Cashflows, help you out. But if you don't know where to start, tap in with the CYC every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Get you a consult call with her, combine those two, and start growing your mind. And put the damn phones down and the toxins and stay off your screens unless you're researching something. The same shit you're listening to this on, you can research all kind of stuff about yourself and the economy and the business. So I appreciate you coming on. I learned so much. I'm definitely gonna be tapping in with you. Still working on my end. I know you're working on yours. So you want to leave anybody with any type of
Yeah.
advice, financially or life skills, life lesson?
Say this, I will leave you with one of my favorite rituals, right? I have a morning and a night. And today I was able to get them all done, right? Like sometimes you can't get them all done because you don't wake up in time or something happens, right? Or you're traveling. But what I like to do is meditate. I like to take a shot of juice and then I go to the gym, right? And then I come back and I eat and I read. So, like the first hour to 2 hours of the day, that's why I get up at 5 a.m., is mine. Come up with some form of winning circle where you're giving to yourself first. When you wake up like that and you've given to yourself first, I was able to pray. I was able to meditate. I was able to get some fresh juice in me. I was able to work out. And I was around other people who do insane workouts, to kind of like help me get going and stay focused. Without that, if I'm not giving to myself, I wouldn't have what I need to give to my community. So I'm held to a higher standard, and start holding yourself to a higher standard and just take just 20 minutes of the day to yourself and just sit to yourself and just visualize yourself winning on one thing. I don't care what it is. If it's something you're struggling with and it's not going your way, just visualize it going your way for about 5 to 10 minutes a day in the morning and before you go to bed. I'm telling you, things will change.
Man, and write it out. You can write it out as if everything went right. That's another way too. Visualize it and write out day by day, hour by hour, how this day will go perfectly. And it'll change your mind. You talking about the foundation. That's what I help people is the 6 pillars between your digital sunset and your digital sunrise. And right after your alarm time where you skip the snooze and before you touch your screens and touch your kids, but pause, not like that. Before you commit to your kids and you get to your screens, you have to activate the mind, body, spirit. So here's a small morning routine. You wake up, skip the snooze button. That's your first win. Go to the bathroom, brush your teeth for 4 minutes, 2 on top, 2 on bottom. Get you a timer toothbrush and focus on the feeling of the toothbrush on your teeth, not your thoughts racing, not all that. That's a form of meditation, active meditation. Cold water on your face or cold shower, either one can be 1 second, 2 seconds, doesn't matter. Do something like that. Wash your hands and brush your tongue too. That's the first part of your gut. You don't want your mouth smelling like your butt. By the time you get out the bathroom, now you got 3 things you can do: 5 minute stretch, 5 minute meditate, 5 things that you want to go right today. That's it. That'll take you
Mm.
15 minutes plus the bathroom. Now you got a simple structure that's your first focus. Not, oh, I got to do this, then I got to do this. Oh, I got to, where's my coffee? Where's my nicotine? Where's my, none of that. You do that first, you start to battle the quitting mind, the softened mind, and the program mind. And you start to increase your self belief because you did what you said instead of what the excuses and emotions said, starting with your snooze button. So that's a small routine
Hmm.
y'all could take with you. Even if you do 2 minute stretch, 2 minute meditating, 2 things you write down. You can even do that. Just
Hmm.
start small and add to it. But thank you so
Man,
much. I appreciate that. Yeah, I
thank you,
appreciate that.
Hakeem.
Yeah. Set the foundation. You heard it here first. Y'all tap in with her. In the meantime, in between time, we got the CYC retreat June 18th. We're doing one every year. We also have the CYC every Tuesday. Choose yourself to be chosen. The book is available now. DM me if you need me. Keep the gratitude in your attitude and choose yourself.